The GreenPeace International homepage has gone through 4 major revisions since the site was launched on January 3, 1997. Here's the first version, which is fairly basic. Here, in the 1999 incarnation of the site, you can see the emergence of 2 major themes. First is how the organization prioritizes the issues it addresses. You can see all of their issues laid out at the colored bar at the bottom. Also, watch out for which topics are privileged in their news and events section. You'll see a strong focus on marine issues and logging, and a lesser focus on climate change throughout most of the site's history. Another theme that emerges is how GreenPeace chooses to engage its online audience. Dale Steffen argued that GreenPeace members were the children of the Blue Hen, and over the course of the homepage history, you can see how the organization masters various new online media. In particular, it's interesting to see how GreenPeace attempts to solicit action and participation from site visitors through the broad categories of join, act, and support. Here, there's no button yet that solicits donations, but the join button is large and prominent and implies a degree of excitement and fun to be had by clicking on it. There's also the first appearance of a link to multimedia, there on the bottom with a link to streaming videos. In this update to the site, the group has differentiated between join and act. The website is now offering more options of how the visitor can choose to become engaged. A significant site redesign occurred in 2002. They dispensed with the candy-colored palette in favor of a white background and a muted green. The join and act buttons are still there, but on the upper right-hand corner, an arguably secondary position to the blog-style posts in the center. The broadcast technologies have also changed, for now streaming video has become multimedia. Overall, the redesign gives an impression of a much more organized and influential group. The act button disappears here, but the join button moves over to the area of the so-called golden triangle on the site, along with the drop-down menu for GreenPeace's national websites. Here, the join button is replaced with an image of a polar bear, one of the first stereotypical global warming images to appear, and accompanies a suggestion to please give now. This is the most recent major site redesign. There are notable stylistic changes. The smaller text and more rectangular design projects greater authority or expertise. There is a link to a gift and merchandise section, which is an interesting inclusion for a group that is generally anti-capitalist. Also note how the site visitor is immediately given 3 equal opportunities for participation: to support us, take action, and get involved. Underneath these is a link to local projects and 2 links to national websites. This emphasizes opportunities for choice and engagement, especially on a local scale. Along with the welcome message and less obvious request to donate money, this increases the impression of a personal organization and one that may have moved away from roots in a more radical past. Throughout the development of the 4th version of the homepage, watch how blogs achieve increasing importance in the lower right-hand column. In keeping with its willingness to embrace new media, GreenPeace has implemented several blogs to keep track of campaign news. In this update, the expanded issues on the left navigation menu disappear. The visitor now has to click the arrow to expand the issues list downwards. This may indicate that the organization is more interested in being identified with individual campaigns rather than with broad subject areas. This also leaves the site visitor with greater freedom to curate his or her own experience rather than have those experiences delineated by categories. This is the most recent version of the GreenPeace homepage. You can see there's a greater focus on climate change. On the left-hand navigation bar, their blog section has been replaced with a link to the climate blog only. So this appears to be a relatively sudden switch in the topics they feature, although it remains to be seen if this focus will continue after the Copenhagen Climate Summit. You can also see the Act Now section of the page has been replaced with Things You Can Do Now, which, like many of the other previous changes, offers a friendlier, more personal approach to the website's audience. Another important change from the 2008 version of the homepage are the links to Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and their RSS feed. This seems to fit in with GreenPeace's past willingness to embrace new media and their ability to effectively use new media for PR purposes.